right, welcome back to the Reality Report on Freedom.tv, your home for news unspoiled from corporate influence. Okay, now, there are some dates that I want you to write down. Very important dates coming up, so get out your pen and paper. March 6th and 7th is the Treason in America 9/11, the Wars in Our Broken Constitution Conference. Join in on this truth conference where people will be talking about what is really going on in our country. March 12th through the 15th is the Freedom Law School Take Back America 2010 Health and Freedom Conference, whose speakers include Joe Bannister, the former IRS criminal investigator, Tom Cryer, who recently won a victory over the IRS. He's the leader of Truth Attack. And of course, yours truly, I will be there speaking about FEMA camps and detention centers in America. Also, April 15th through the 18th, take a few days off and get the government's attention. Karen Tostado of www.taxfree15.com has formed a national coalition that is taking action. No work, no school, no shopping. Take your money out of large corporate banks and ask why. Our rights and our Constitution have been completely disregarded. It's time to collectively and peacefully withdraw our financial and physical support from a government gone wild and demand accountability. Join us and stand as one in peaceful non-compliance with a national strike, 415 through 418. That's Karen Tostado with taxfree15.com. All right, and now for my favorite part of the show when I get to read your questions and comments. Our first is from Chris, who's from New Jersey, and Chris writes, "First, I want to thank you for all the great work you're doing. Did you know that our president is already starting another department, one of internet security?" Everyone does understand what that really means, right? It means shutting down or controlling any website that the government deems a threat, which also means people like you and Alex Jones are on borrowed time. Well, Chris, I am aware, and I intend to work as hard as I can to get as much information out before they try to shut me down. I will not let them violate my right to freedom of speech and freedom of the press. Our next comment is from Tom, who's in Manchester, Connecticut. He says, "I continue to hear from the less educated that the Constitution is outdated, or times and people change, so we shouldn't take the Constitution so literally. The Founding Fathers continue to amaze me with their foresight, and people need to understand and appreciate them and the great document they created. Thank you for your continued hard work to open up the eyes of all the people in this country." Tom, the next time that somebody tells you that the Constitution is outdated, ask them if they enjoy Coca-Cola. Why? Because that recipe hasn't changed in 124 years, except, of course, when they took the cocaine out of it. But the point is that it still tastes the same, and it is still successful. The definition of freedom and liberty will never change, and neither will the United States Constitution. All right, our last comment is from Larry P., who writes, "I love your work. I love the work you're doing, but am concerned about the Tea Party movement being hijacked. The beauty of the movement is that it was organic and encompassed moms and grandparents and regular Joes who care about our country and our liberties. They took time off from their jobs to stand out in the elements and voice their displeasure with the direction our country is heading. They were ridiculed for taking a stand and drawing a line in the sand and saying, 'No more.' We don't need another political party. We need patriots to stand against big government." You know what, Larry? We here at the Reality Report could not agree with you more. The movement has been co-opted. Do yourself a favor, jump back to the beginning of this edition, and review my thoughts and instructions on what to do now. Do you want to send us some show feedback that could get read on the air? Send an email to feedback@freedom.tv. Include your name and town and whatever you feel, because you know what? It may just end up on the show. All right. Now, I know you've been waiting for this. This is the big finish. Who is this week's enemy of the state? All right, our enemy of the state today is Strobe Talbot. Now, he is the enemy of the state because he made this quote in the July 20th, 1992 edition of Time magazine. In the next century, nations as we know it will be obsolete. All states will recognize a single global authority. National sovereignty wasn't such a great idea after all. Thanks a lot, Strobe. Great quote. That's why you are this week's enemy of the state. Now, according to Wikipedia, the online encyclopedia, Strobe Talbot, along with being Bill Clinton's Deputy Secretary of State, was also a Rhodes Scholar, a member of Skull and Bones, and also translated Nikita Khrushchev's memoirs into English so all the good communists over here could take notes on his life. He is currently the president of the Brookings Institution. All right, well, I want to thank you for joining me on this edition of the Reality Report. Please support the message of the independent media by forwarding this video to your friends and family and coworkers. And guess what? You can follow us on Twitter now. That's right. That's right, Twitter, at Reality Report. Tweet us, communicate with us, send us a message, go back and forth. Whatever the tweeters do, we'll be tweeting alongside them. So, all right, folks. You know me, my name's Gary Franchi, and remember, I am not here to make you a follower, I'm here to make you a leader among the people. Good night.